Hey, John McCalmont here for another edition of the Bass Champs Talk podcast. Sitting here with Jeff Welch doing something a little different today. We are wrapping up our championship here at Lake Texoma, and as always, we were having a powwow about Berkley coming up this week, and we thought, you know what, we should share this powwow with everybody to give them all the information they need to fish the Berkley Big Bass Tournament coming up this weekend. That's going to be a great event.
Yeah, everything Berkley is what we've been talking about.
Everything
this morning.
Berkley. Yeah. So I know the first thing that we want to say, which is really interesting, because this came up on several conversations this weekend. You can fish Berkley out of any boat. You've just got to be fishing Berkley baits.
That's correct. All boat brands are welcome.
Yeah.
You got to use Berkley pure fishing baits. Line doesn't really matter. Rod and the reel doesn't matter. But whatever's tied on the end of that is what matters. It's got to be Berkley.
It's got to be Berkley. And there's a really good breakdown on the website about that.
There is, absolutely. If you go to basschamps.com, click on the Berkley big tournament logo there at the top, takes you right to the rules, and there's a really nice sheet that talks all about what you can and can't do. Plus, we're there all day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and answering questions.
Yeah. So talk about, well, first and foremost, before we talk about the breakdown of the event, let's talk about the big news of the event.
Yeah, some big news broke this week. Lake Fork Slot Lake.
Yeah.
So we always have a great prize for the largest fish over the slot and a great prize for the largest fish under the slot. Berkley event, they're always Skeeter bass boats. Well, the biggest fish always gets a little bigger boat than the biggest little fish. This year though, 20th annual.
Yeah.
So big time stuff. We're giving away a ZX200 on both slots. So
that's cool.
Over the slot and the under. So that's really neat for the 20th annual.
All right, so you're going to have two boats out there. Are they going to be identical boats or different colors?
They are different colors, but they're identical boats. They're both ZX200s with the Yamahas.
So how do you figure?
I thought about this. so what we predetermined is the largest fish of the event will pick his or hers boat first, and then the other boat will go to the under the slot.
Oh, that's a big upgrade for the under the slot.
Yeah, it's really cool. So this 20th annual is going to be cool.
Yeah, it is going to be cool. All right, so let's break it down. We always love it when new people come and fish this event who have never fished it before. Of course, we are there all day on Friday for registration. First 1,000 people to register gets
really cool. Berkley goes way out and builds a really nice, I'm going to call it gift bag, and it's they usually get with they get with their local pro staff, kind of pick out some baits that are relevant to the time of the year we're there, what's been current conditions of the lake. They get you a little head start that comes with your entry.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. And we're close to 1,000 pre-entries already. So if you want to get in on that giveaway, you want to go to basschamps.com and get registered for the event. But of course, you can always register it Friday too.
Oh, you can. Yeah, we register on site all day. But yeah, if you want a guaranteed gift bag, go online and get registered.
Get pre-registered.
If you don't care, hey, we'll see you on Friday.
You got people talking around us, so you just have to ignore those guys because we got a lot going on. All right, so I've never fished the tournament before. You get these questions all day long on Friday. What is the number one question you get about the Berkley Big Bass Tournament?
Two. It's really kind of a tie.
Okay.
Because this is, you got to really think about this. This is, I don't know of a bait brand specific tournament in the world that's as big as this.
Yeah.
That many people at one time are throwing product made by one company, which is really cool, Berkley.
Yeah. Which, by the way, has more product. It has the most products. I mean, there are more Berkley products out there.
Well, yeah. Well, think about this. When we started this, when we had this idea 20 years ago, I mean, it was pretty freaking basic, right?
Yeah.
There was a jerk shad, there was a lizard, there was the old, which
power worm,
and 7, which still makes a lot of money in this
Yeah.
event. But there was just a handful of baits.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, which we need to talk about. There's a lot of product on. Lake Fork Marina there brings in a bunch of product for your last minute shopping.
Yeah.
But back to the question. So we talk a lot about baits. What can we do? What can we not? It's really easy. I tell everybody, and we'll do a brief one. I said, just think about everything in terminal tackle. If you're open your hand up and you have a blade, a wire, a hook, or a weight, and that's all that's in your hand. Everything you add to it must be Berkley, and it has to have Berkley on it. You're always going to be legal because we're fishermen. We're trying to dream up recreate the the bait.
Yeah.
But if you just start with a definition of terminal tackle and everything you add to it is Berkley, and it must be functional, because I'll get somebody say, man, I'll take this frame and I'll strip it off and I want to take a Berkley crappie niblet and put on the, no, it says the rules specify functional trailer.
Yeah.
So that's probably the number one thing we talk about, but it's pretty easy when you start looking, because when somebody starts asking me a bunch of different, I said, go back to your hand. What started in your hand? Terminal tackle, a blade, a wire, a hook, or a weight. If you don't have to have all those, but if there's nothing more in your hand and you start back with Berkley, you're going to be good every time. Now, crankbaits are easy. Berkley makes them. There is no way around on a hard bait. But you know, that's when you start dreaming up stuff. That's probably number one question. The second is the slot.
Yeah.
So we always talk about, because we've talked about these Skeeter ZX 200s for over.
So before we get to the slot, let me just ask a couple of rudimentary bait questions.
Okay.
So here I am, an angler, and I'm going to throw something simple like a 10-inch power worm. So on that 10-inch power worm, can I have any hook and weight?
You can, absolutely.
And can I have any line on my reel?
Right, so let's go back, how I'd answer the question if you were at the tournament. I said,
Yeah.
John, you're gonna open up your hand, and you're gonna have a ½ ounce tungsten weight, and you're gonna, whether you have a Berkley Fusion hook or you had another brand of hook, but you open up your hand, that's what you had.
Yeah.
So I said, what are you gonna fish? You say 10-inch power worm. So you put it all, so as long as you're adding that to that terminal tackle, good every time. And we do not have a rule that specifies you must use a specific line. It's same as a rod and reel. Really, this is bait specific.
Yeah, because I may not know. Well, of course, I do use all tri-lane. I've used it ever since I was a little kid. But I mean, you may have a rod and reel in your boat. You don't know what
Right. And I have no way of telling, because
Yeah.
people ask, man, how do you check this? Well, we polygraph every hour, and if it's a random polygraph or a multiple polygraph hour, we go to your boat, actually, do a boat check, but you cut your bait off. You carry that up with you to get your polygraph. The one time you can't tell me you didn't catch it on this, because they're going to ask you right there, did you catch the fish you submitted on that bait?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes or no.
So it's really cool.
And so you do physically go to the boat and look at the bait that they caught.
No, we cut it off, and then you
Cut it
carry
off.
that.
You carry
that to the polygraph examination.
Really?
And
That's
that's
badass.
question number one.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm fishing a slobber knocker.
Okay.
Can I only put Berkley trailers on that slobber knocker?
Yes.
Great question, because we get that a lot.
Yep.
Because you want to make sure that slobber knocker is all Berkley.
That's correct.
Yeah, and of course, if you're fishing a frenzy crankbait or any of the topwater baits like the Chopo or anything like that, that's just Berkley all the way.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's all there is. Do you need to change your treble hook out? Sure, not a problem. But there's hard baits are pretty simple, because once again, you opened your hand up, and you didn't start with terminal tackle. It wasn't a weight, a hook, a blade, or it's not terminal tackle. So at that point it better be Berkley when I open my hand. If you're talking crankbait, you're talking top water, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Frog.
And there'll be tons of Berkley baits for self-riding.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lake Fork
and
Marina.
the latest, greatest stuff.
Yep. I talked to Lake Fork Marina 2 days ago, right before our opening ceremonies here for the championship, and they had just got their big order in for the event. So it's there. It'll be set up under a separate tent. It always is every year. Same tent, you get your gift bag. And they do a really good job taking care of you.
So now on to the second most popular question, and it is the slot.
Yep, always. Lake Fork slot.
Yeah.
So real easy. All fish greater than 16 inches and less than 24 inches must be returned to the lake immediately. I always say the same thing. Seldom do we have a problem with an over measuring. Every once in a while we do have a problem with one not measuring over, because they push the fish like they should up to the edge of the bump board, the mouth's closed, and then they start studying the tail. And we pinch and we swipe, unders and overs. Problem on an over, it's such a big fish, whether it's 8, 9, 10, 11, they start studying the tail. The tail's good, but they forget to go back over here and look at the mouth, because the distance is so great. It's over 2 feet.
Yeah.
On the unders, the biggest problem we have is, I tell everybody, measure an under like you'd measure your over, and you're always going to be right.
Always going to be safe.
As long as you use a good board, like a pro rule that's straight, no bends. But those unders, what happens is it's just how the brain works. There's money and lots of things going on, but you take that under and you put it on there, and instead of you compress the tail and swipe a little. Oh, John, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Well, if that was a 24 and it was almost touching the line, we're still over here
working
looking.
it.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to measure your 16s, how I'm going to measure your 24s, and I'm going to measure your 24s, how I'd measure your 16s. Just remember that. And that's probably the biggest thing that gets people in trouble on the unders is they put it up there, they just do the whole quick chip. Man, it's a great fish. Well, when we put it on the board, it's eighth over, more than an eighth. Over's over. I mean, we're looking for one, just like to make a 24-inch fish legal, I'm looking for one little finicle. If it touches the line, it's legal. But that same little finicle, if it goes over the 16 line, come on, man, don't. Hey, I just want you to have the confidence to know that if you threw that fish back, that you didn't weigh it, I didn't weigh it, no one else weighed it because it was over or it was under, or however it looked. So, yeah, the slot's easy, slow down. I fish enough big bass tournaments on Fork. I get it. I've been over there. Yeah, man. Well, when you're really looking at it that many times, or same thing. While we're on this, it happened at the Mega Bass. A guy walks up, says, "Hey, whatever you do, don't measure this under the slot bass I'm presenting. Don't measure it with the belly to you. Measure it with the dorsal away from you." And I said, "Well, you just told me you know it." I'm like, well, no. I said, "Well, hang on. If you bring a 24-inch bass to me, and I have the belly to me, belly to belly, and it doesn't measure, and I believe that it measures, and you didn't bring it here if it didn't. So I'll flip that fish and find the longest side. Well, I'm going to do the same thing on the 16.
Yep.
If you bring me a really close fish and I have it towards me, the belly towards me, I'm like, whoa, that's a really nice fish. Now look, if there's a quarter, I'm going to still tell you it's a really nice fish, but that's not a problem. I probably won't flip it. But when the one's line burners, everybody calls them, is really close, we're going to go ahead and flip that bass and make sure that other side's not longer. So I said, man, that's not fair. Well, I'm going to, as we open, I'm going to measure your 24 and the 16 the same.
Exactly.
So as long as you remember that, the slot is, and it is frustrating at times, but that's why we give a ZX200 away for the largest under the slot, and a ZX200 away for the largest over. Skeeter's really stepped up for this Berkley event this year.
Yeah, that's nice. And anglers are always welcome, and we urge them to bring their board up if they have any worries about it not being precisely correct, because we're talking about
paper thin.
Thin. So if you're not sure about your board, tell them what the official board is for Bass Champs and how they check theirs.
Yeah. So all day on Friday's registration, the official board, which is Pro Rule, is on a table, bolted down so it doesn't disappear. But it's there. All you have to do is you can come up and do your own check. If you're not sure how to compare your board with our board, we have a staff on hand that'll do it for you. But what's amazing, and you and I've had this conversation before, is we're at the championship right now. Think of all the hours that went into respooling rods and tying on stuff, making sure knots were perfect, and buying more tackle and updating graphs. And the one thing that never really gets worked on
is the
measuring board. And a bent board has cost more people who were doing everything right problems over the years than anything. You forget about it. In the winter, your box lids froze shut. It became a pry bar. You had a flat tire, and you just needed a little extra.
Or you just stepped on it trying to net a fish because the net's all tangled up in your rod and reels, and you stepped on the thing, and it just bent it just enough.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll even have guys, I bent that thing back. But it always amazes me is anglers will spend so much money on tackle and getting stuff ready in their boat, but they still have their board that they started fishing with. And some of them are still true and great, but at times you need to upgrade your board. You need
to check your board, and you need to buy a board that can go to 24, because we've had people try to take their 18-inch board and double it up to measure their 24-inch fish.
Sure.
You want a 24-inch board.
There's all kinds of, we've seen some interesting from the
tape
little
measure,
the fold-out rules to even what you're talking about. Man, I don't want to buy a 24-inch board, so they have a 16 or a 14 or an 18-inch board already on their boat, so they figure out somewhere to wedge that board, and then they get their tape measure out and measure another 6 inches, and they're, there's my line, and somehow that generally just doesn't work out.
That is a recipe for disaster.
For
and boards are also for sale at the event.
They are.
Buy a board.
They'll have plenty of them there.
And that's probably one of their biggest money makers because everybody, like me, for example, takes off and forgets to put the 24-inch board in the boat. So make sure if you have bought a 24-inch board in the past, you put it in your boat before you come down.
No doubt. You know, and it's another common question. Boy, I don't use your board, or your board's different than the brand I bought. Or, in my experience, there are some exceptions, but the vast majority of boards package out of package. When I line them up, they're identical.
Yeah.
The difference is Pro Rule's probably, what would you say, 3 or 4 times thicker than the standard board?
At least 4 times thicker than the standard board.
So really all that happens over time is the Pro Rule stays true.
Yeah.
It handles more abuse, more getting stepped on, get the net, Johnny kind of situations.
Yeah.
Probably and a lot of them, you just look, I mean, I'll lay a board on a table. So man, I can't believe I'm that far off. And you can take the board and
it bounces.
It bounces. And here's the thing about it. It might have cost you problems on an under, but you might throw back a 24 because you stepped on the board on the backside.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I've seen it in a tournament where they realized, hey, we just let a fish go yesterday that was
over
within a
24,
16th of an inch.
Yeah.
And they're in trouble for being a quarter on the other side of the board. So right there, cut it in half, an eighth, and they've weighed it over and potentially won a new Skeeter bass boat.
And I'll tell you, the worst board to measure your fish on is that board on your ice chest in your boat.
Oh, well.
Because there's nowhere to butt that mouth up to.
Well, it's funny, these stories, and we could tell a bunch. So the process is, the game wardens are there. They're there. They're really helpful. I mean, some people get nervous. They're really good guys and gals that are there.
Yeah.
But the very first thing that happens is we measure the fish. Everything goes fine. Our fish measure says, hey, we got a problem.
Yeah.
Well, the game warden's going to ask you to come over. You've done nothing wrong. What we say doesn't matter to them. They're going to ask you to go get your board. And this is where the funny stories come sometimes. Sometimes they will go straight down, they go grab their board. It's a board.
Yeah.
And then they figure out what they did wrong, what they did right. That's between the game warden and the angler. But it's funny when it's, man, I don't know how I'm going to carry my cooler. And,
you come to my boat, the cooler's full of ice.
Because what the game warden's trying to do is let you go get your board.
Yeah, benefit of the doubt.
And it says, the game warden, if you stand over, he's going to say, show me how you measure your fish, John. And man, maybe you put the mouth right up there, you swipe the tail, you do everything right, and man, it looks good on your board. Well, of course, then obviously when it gets right down to it, he has his official state board. And then they're going to measure on that. And he's going to say, hey, John, your board was bent. Most of the time, they never even get to that point because he puts fish up there, and some of the states, there was over 25 states represented at Berkley, big bass. That's a pretty good average.
Yeah.
A couple countries. In some of the states, use what they call natural length. So you take the fish, put the head up against the end of the board, and you don't compress and swipe, and we do both.
Yeah.
So we compress and we swipe up while we're compressing, but some don't. So shoot, you think about that. A guy from out a couple states away takes fish, puts the head up there, has the tail, doesn't touch it, it's right under 16. What do you think happens when our official measure, he swipes it, you're 16 and a half almost.
Yeah.
Here's the problem though, that same situation we were talking about earlier where it can cost you on and over, they take a big old girl 10-pounder, put her up there, leave her in natural state, she's 23 and 7/8, 23 and a strong half. Well, boy, if they'd have grabbed her, compressed her tail, and swipe, they have an over. So just, check out Parks and Wildlife rules for Texas. That's always a good.
Yeah, they've got a great descriptive visual
They do.
how to measure a fish.
But if you have a question,
ask
on Friday. That's a great day.
Yeah.
We'll always have a few people run up there on Saturday. Hey, I want to do a board check, and we'll work you in. But if you wait till the end of the hour, there's 4 minutes left, you're about ready to close the scales, and you want to do a board check, we don't check it to any other board but the official board that we're going to measure on. You may not get a board check.
Yep.
And I've had some guys disappointed. So look, get in line. I mean, we're closing an hour. A bunch of money on the line right now.
That's what Friday's for. That's why we're there.
Yeah,
all day.
come Friday.
Yeah.
Come Friday, you can spend 10 minutes. We can talk about measuring fish. We can, we can set you for success and for a good, fun weekend.
Okay, so I've come down on Friday, I've asked all my questions, I've registered, I've paid, I was one of the first 1,000, so I got my Berkley bag.
Yep.
I bought some new Berkley baits. Now it's Saturday morning of the tournament. When can I put on the water? when can I leave the ramp? When can I start fishing? And when can I weigh in for the first hour?
Great questions. So the rules read this. Your boat can be in the water the night before. It can be tied up to a dock. It can be at Lake Fork Marina.
Yeah.
You can be pulled up next to the boat ramp.
All right.
So that would be your overnight dockage.
Yeah.
So
And it can be any boat. We're going to say that again.
Yes, any boat brand. I'm sorry,
boat brand.
I didn't catch you. So what happens at 4:30, you can leave your dockage area.
Okay.
And you can go to wherever your spot is.
Right.
But first cast isn't until 6:30.
Okay.
So you don't have to leave at 4:30. You and I, we're not leaving at 4:30.
I'm leaving at 6:29.
Right. So the thing is, between 4:30 and 6:30, we want you to be safe. So
Yeah.
you can use your electronics, whatever you have, whatever brands, for navigation and safety. What you can't do between 4:30 and 6:30 is go searching for fish. For instance, with forward-facing sonar, you can't go out there. You and I are debating on, man, do we start on this dock or this point? Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go forward-facing. We're going to go look at both of these. You cannot do that. So 4:30 to 6:30 is to get you safely to your spot. We allow electronics for that. We don't allow electronics in that 2-hour period for locating bass.
Yeah, and what I often will tell people is, like on my boat, when I flip the power switch on, my graphs come up. They start, and I go physically turn off the front ones, and I make sure that the graph at my console is only on a map, so that I don't accidentally see a fish at all.
Right. And again, I'm not looking for. If you're going into a shallow area and you need to look at 2D for navigation, that's pretty easy. Now, if you're using your 2D to go graph over hump A, B, and C, two totally different scenarios. Yeah. We want you there safe, and we want you to use the tools that get you there safe. We just don't want you using those tools to locate fish before first cast, which is 6:30. Now, scales. Our big bass that we've done for 20 years it's an hourly big bass, but we do it a little different just based on the fact that I want you to fish longer. So the scales open for the first time on day one from 8 to 8:30. So they open at the top half of the hour. From 8, they're open, and they close at 8:30. Then they close for 30 minutes, 9, 9:30, all the way day one and day two to 2 to 2:30. People say, man, why do you only weigh in for 30 minutes? Well, truthfully, if you sit up there and watch, when we'd keep the scales open for an hour, for the whole hour, all the way through the day. Well, everything happens you could really do it in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You could have a 5-minute weigh-in every hour, because that's when all it happens. If you walk up, we have people on the point down there, if you walk up at scales open at 8 and you pull your boat up there at 8:01 and say, hey, what's it taking? We have people right there. Of course, we have live leaderboards you can look at on your phone. We have the live weigh-in going on. But we also have guys, just old-fashioned megaphones down there telling you. But if you ask somebody, hey, what's leading it? Or what's it taking to get a check right now? Or a rod and reel? They're going to tell you
Zero.
Nobody's weighed in
yet.
And then 8:10 the boat comes up. What's it taking? Well, we're paying 20 places every hour. We filled 15 chairs. So right now, any fish. So as it goes and progresses, people kind of understand, we could, I tell people, look, if you've got a big one and you want to get up there, hey, I understand. I can't tell you when to come or not come. But let's just say you and I are fishing a tournament. At 8:20, we're going to work our way up to the bank. We're still in zero hurry.
Yep.
We're going to wait. Maybe you already have your phone out. Maybe we have our phones buried in the console and we don't have them out. But we're going to wait for a quick announcement. They're coming about every 30 seconds from a mega. Bottom weight, 20th place is 1.75. Leading the hour is 10.02. Well, right now, you and I are sitting in the boat. We have 9 minutes left.
Yeah.
It's 8:21. John, what do you want to do? I know mine's not going to work. What are you thinking on yours? I think I'm going to wait. Well, that gives you a ton of time still. Put your fish, get good water in the bag.
A lot of water.
Put your fish in the bag. You're not
sure life.
Yep. And you're in zero hurry.
Yep.
You put your fish in there. Say, good luck, partner. I'm going to sit right here. Heck, I might even leave you.
Yeah.
And go fishing. But we're going to have a sandwich. And you leisurely walk up there. Now it's 8:26. Maybe a few people away ahead of you. In 5 minutes, you know where you came out.
Yeah.
Instead of, if we did the exact same scenario, you brought your 174 up at 8:01, you're hanging out.
Yeah,
you just
for
wait
30 minutes.
For at least
45.
Yeah, right. For at least 30 minutes.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't grasp the idea that you just have to be in line.
That's correct.
By 8:30. At 8:31, that line closes.
That's correct.
But we're still weighing fish.
That's correct. You have to be in line with your fish by the bottom or the top half, 8:30, 9:30. But I just tell everybody, hey, because everybody wants to know, hey, is my fish am I gonna get paid? That's the question. Well, I can't tell you for another 10 minutes. I can't tell you because most of the fields coming in, they're utilizing their fishing day instead of hanging out up there on the bank with us. Which, hey, that's great. We love to have company. Yeah. But the easiest way is give yourself the John and Jeff 10-minute rule. So I tell them the 20s. 8:20, 9:20, because you're always going to know. Now you got a giant, it's not fitting in your live well. We've seen that.
Oh yeah, especially at Fork.
Yeah, the boat, the live well's not the right size for the fish that you just caught. I don't blame you for being there at 8:01. Yeah. I don't blame you for being there at 9:01. Yeah, well, I mean, we want to take care of the fish for sure, but the fish is healthy. The scales are open. I'm going to keep fishing. Even if we fish right there in that cove. We made it over here, John. We're safe. We're going to get to weigh in. I'm going to spend some time right there.
A lot of fish have been caught in that cove.
A lot of fish.
A lot of guys have made money fishing in that cove while their partners up weighing in.
There's a lot of money.
You're not going to believe what just happened.
Yep, I'm coming up. But, no, it's a great question.
Yeah, and it's really important if you've got a big under or you've got an over. You want to be listening to the guys on the bank, looking at the live leaderboard, watching the live weigh-in, because that's your opportunity to win $1,000 that hour. Yep. And if you hear that there's a 10-10 and you've got your scales in your boat and yours is a 9.5, and it's in good shape and it's healthy and it's happy in the live well, man, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting till the next hour to get $1,000.
This depends on the condition of the fish, because one thing, we don't weigh dead fish.
Nope.
So, as long as your fish is healthy, you've added the Sure Life, you've taken care of it, it's doing great. Yeah, play the game. That's what it's all about. That's why we have the radio, K-Move, both live applications, and then, like we said, old-fashioned megaphone
on the bank.
Going back and forth on the bank. It's pretty easy to get the weights.
We are literally doing everything in our power to get you those weights so that you can maximize your fishing time in the water.
Right. Yeah. But it's the most helpful in the last 10. And really, it'll happen a lot in the last, somebody will come up with 3 minutes ago, what is it? I say 2 pounds. Yeah. They go run over there, grab their fish, they get it. By the time they've gone to their boat, grab their fish, get us, sorry, it's 210. Oh, you told me 2 pounds. Well, it was exactly when you asked. But the live leaderboard and the Facebook Live will always,
the live leaderboard is instantaneous.
That is correct.
The Facebook Live has about a 30-second delay going over wherever it goes in the world. Right. But yeah, definitely you want to be in tune on those.
And the megaphone has no delay.
Megaphone, zero delay.
So no, that's just something I try to tell people, because we did that years ago to see fished more, stood around less and went fishing more, and that's kind of our goal there.
Yeah. All right. I weighed a big fish in. I have won the hour. What is going to happen to me from that point forward?
Well, I mean, you win the hour. Well, first thing that's going to happen is congratulations. Yep. They're going to meet you again, because we're going to do a TV interview. Yep. We're going to do some more social media stuff. Yep. Tournament officials are going to go to your boat with you. They're going to do a boat inspection. Mm-hmm. Remember that's something big to talk about. Just basic safety stuff. You got to have it. Life jackets, kill switches, fire extinguishers.
Throw cushion
and registration. Yep. We're going to go through that real fast. Every once in a while, we have somebody that cost them some money over something that they should have, that they think they have. That it's kind of like the measuring board they forgot to check.
Yeah, they forgot to check to see if they had throw cushion in there.
Yeah, they used it. They used it at a concert or a car race as a
Friday night football game
butt cushion, and they forgot to put it back in the boat. But so from there, quick inspection. As we mentioned earlier, we're going to which bait did you cut it off? Sometimes we get a little out of it. Look, we're going to put it down on the table in the polygraph. Yeah. So let's pick the right one. So okay, I get it. We're going to cut that bait off. You're going to grab it. You're going to go to the polygraph. It's going to take you, let's just call it, it's 45 minutes an hour. So if you have a partner, they're welcome to go on their way, and you can give them a call when you come back. Fill out a little paperwork, and that's it.
Now, do I get my check then?
No, and that's a good question. We do it the Bass Champs way. We do that on Sunday afternoon. We do a very quick award ceremony with the over winner with the Skeeter, the under winner with the Skeeter, and all the checks, and we have that down to a pretty neat ceremony there at the end, along with some more drawings. with some more pure fishing Berkley product.
Yeah.
That's all on Sunday about, that's a good question. Weigh-ins 2 to 2:30. So by the time we've got that final weigh-in kind of cleared up, we always tell everybody about 3 to 3:15. Be over there if you want to, A, pick up your check, or B, see if you won something else.
And if I got to get out of town, or if I can't fish on Sunday for a family event and I did win something on Saturday, what happens to that check?
Checks are mailed out on Wednesdays.
So it will arrive at my
Yep.
house at some point.
Yep.
As long as I
absolutely.
put the right address down.
That's correct. Yeah, the checks that don't, or I can't read your handwriting, or you reversed a few digits on me. So.
Yeah. And speaking of handwriting, that's very important, because when you do get into an hour and you are going to receive a prize for that hour, you have to fill out some paperwork right there
Yeah,
before
W-9.
you leave.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yep. Yeah,
Now,
it's quick and easy.
If I also win in the next hour, do I have to fill out another W-9?
No, you'll put your name on it as a placeholder, and but no, the girls who do that, they're professionals.
Yeah, they're good
they've
at
really
it.
got it down. Jimmy Ashton, Melissa, they have that down to a science.
Yeah, because they want to get you back out.
Yeah, they
fishing.
understand. They
They're
fish too.
fishermen.
Yeah, they fish too.
They know.
So yeah,
They know
Yeah,
the
if you
deal.
listen to them, they're going to get you out there quick.
Yeah.
If you tell them they're not doing it right, it might cost you a little time.
So, that really encompasses everything about a big bass event, and specifically Berkley that's coming up this weekend. And there's a reason why we sit here and spend all of this time doing this. The whole reason we started this podcast in the very beginning of this year was we wanted to get out as much pertinent information as we can to you, the fisherman who's going to be fishing these events, because we don't want you to have a rule violation.
That's correct.
When you make that one single cast of a lifetime and you catch that one fish that could win an hour, or win one of the 20 places in an hour, or even better yet, wins a brand new Skeeter bass boat, we want to make sure that you had all the information available to you in order to make sure that every checkbox is clicked. I've got that throw cushion. I checked my measuring board. I got my bait in hand. It was all Berkley, and it just goes down the line. And then, man, everybody is just happy as can be.
Yeah. Just a little preparation prior to makes for a great weekend.
Yeah, and Friday is question day.
That's right.
And even more, if you want to, you can put questions in the comments down below, and we'll try to get to them as quickly as we can. But the guaranteed way to get a question answered is this guy right here on Friday at Lake Fork under the tent, because that's his sole job, is to be there to answer all of those questions for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Any other bizarre questions you've ever gotten asked?
Oh man, we could have a whole show on that. But like you said, just getting this information out.
Yeah.
You know,
And a fishing license.
oh yeah.
You've got to have a Texas fishing license.
Probably the best thing is to actually read the rules. Read
Yeah.
them, but not just say I know them.
But people don't read anymore.
That's cost a lot of money over
It's
time.
cost a lot of money over the years.
Yeah, read the rules.
Yeah, because it's real easy to buy a fishing license in Texas.
Yeah,
You just
yeah.
download the app and boom, it's there. So, and
No excuse not to have
yeah,
it.
with 25 people coming from 25 different states, different countries to fish this event, it's something that it might slip your mind.
Yep.
And so you gotta have
It's
that.
happened before, for sure.
And it will happen again, unfortunately.
Yep, that is unfortunate.
But not if you listen to this podcast.
Exactly.
What else could we tell our anglers that are going to come fish Berkley this weekend?
Be safe.
Yeah.
Be courteous. Treat people on the water how you would want to be treated, not how you think you might want to be treated. And have a good time. This is really a great event.
It's a great
It's
event.
a lot of fun.
And the weather's shaping up for it.
It looks excellent.
It looks like it's going to be a wonderful weekend. And the better news is Lake Fork is full.
Yes.
The fish are biting. There's places with there's like 6 different patterns going on Lake Fork
Yeah, it
right
should
now
be
that you
fun.
can catch. You can catch them shallow, you can catch them deep, you can catch them in grass, you can catch them on wood. I mean, everybody we've talked to is like, dude, you guys better be ready, because there's going to be a lot of big, healthy fish brought in.
Yeah.
So that is what's going to be really exciting about this weekend.
Yep,
coming up.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, and just like Jeff said, we've got the live leaderboard, and we also stream it on all of our social media channels. So if you're fishing the event, and your wife, your mom, my mom always watches the live streams. She likes them. If they can watch you, you can like literally text them, hey, turn on the live stream. I'm about to weigh in the
Yep.
biggest fish of my lifetime.
That's right.
And they can get online and they can watch you guys weigh in. And then after the tournament's over, you can go back to the YouTube channel and see yourself
Watch
weigh
it
in,
again.
pull the clip up and have fun with it.
Absolutely.
So it's a
Screensaver.
memory of a lifetime. So, yeah. All right, well, that wraps it up for this Doc Talk. We look forward to seeing everybody at the Berkley Big Bass event coming up this weekend at Lake Fork Marina. It's going to be an awesome. I just love it when the weather's going to be great because it means it's going to be an awesome weekend and a lot of big fish are going to come.
Yeah, we've had a great weekend here, and look forward to seeing Lake Fork, Berkley Big Bass.
Get out there and register now so you can be one of the first 1,000 people and get that swag bag.
Let's do it.
I'll see you on Friday.